Change. It's not a four-letter word, but for many people, change presents some real challenges. Here to help us navigate those changes that surely come in life, our therapist friend, Dr. Jonathan Eric Carroll. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning, Angie.
You know, I love change. I like to mix things up and move and all those things that to me are exciting, but I recognize that it's not exciting for many people. I'm sure you have to chat a lot about navigating change.
You're right. I'm with you. I love change. I would do it as much as I could. I just love it. But you're right. For many people, it brings a tremendous amount of stress and anxiety, even depression. And yes, I do have the privilege of sitting alongside and talking with people for whom change brings a battle.
What are we dreading when we face change and it makes our throats tight and our hearts pump? What's happening to us both physically and psychologically?
I think at the end of the day, it's uncertainty. There is a lot of fear, even for some pain. It can be a trauma response for others. People who may have experienced a lack of stability or security at some point in their lives, especially in early childhood. Uncertainty brings a tremendous amount of stress. And so, of course, that increases cortisol levels in the brain, which generates a stress response, which means increased heart rate, increased blood pressure, rapid breathing, perspiration, all the things that some people might associate with symptoms of anxiety or panic. And for some, it's hard to understand because they don't experience it, but it's a very real thing. It's certainly something that can be mitigated with behaviors and change thinking. But even the change of thinking has the word change in it, and that can bring more stress.
Right. Well, what are your tips for folks watching today? What are some simple things that we can do to settle ourselves down, to navigate this change in a more healthy way?
I think first is to be honest with ourselves about the fact that we're not particular fans of change, and maybe to kind of get clear with ourselves about why that might be so. Maybe do a little digging about when we have felt like we feel in the midst of change before in our lives. Journaling is certainly a really great way of doing that because our brains are such incredible computers, but terrible storage facilities, and our brains benefit from our organizing our thoughts with handwriting on paper, not interfacing on a phone or a computer. So journaling is an ancient tool for helping to manage some of these symptoms. Also in the journaling and in thinking, to get clear on the facts of a situation. Sometimes we're telling ourselves a story that just simply isn't true. Sometimes we tell ourselves a story that change is scary, or that the uncertainty is unmanageable, or terrible things will happen. And we get caught in this cycle of ruminating, this kind of repetitive negative thinking, and that generates symptoms. So it's not really the change itself, right? But it's the story we tell ourselves about that. And journaling, getting clear on the facts versus how we feel, leading with the facts, and getting in our thinking as opposed to our feelings, leading with our thinking and let our feelings subjugate themselves to our thinking can be very helpful. Also, we need to do some physiological work. It's helpful for us to ground ourselves, to stay in the present moment, realize that being stuck in the past and too anticipatory of the future oftentimes leads to a tremendous amount of anxiety or depression, and change is either rooted in the past or the future for us. But when we see it, this is happening now. This has many benefits. This can be good. This is, yes, scary. This is hard. This is challenging. But I'm not going to die. I am going to be okay. I will adjust. That type of thinking can really allow our brains to relax and settle down into the possibilities that newness is not a bad thing.
Jonathan, as always, I appreciate your wisdom and insights. Great to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you.
Have a great day. We'll be back with more local lifestyles right after this. Please stay with us.